Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Monday mentoring session, Zoom at noon with IHub team. Leadership across the board are going to be participating in these. We're excited about that. Got a great guest speaker today as we continue the story, what I call the backstory for IHub. Mary Kay and I are going to be your co-hosts. My name is Sean Whelan, and it's going to be a wonderful time. We're going to sit back and enjoy and have some good chatter here today. We'd like to start with something that we did the other day on the evening Zoom at 9. And by the way, before I forget to plug that, guys, if you've got questions you're not getting answered, you definitely want to plug into these 9 p.m. Eastern Zooms that are listed here in your online office. Don't miss these. Mary Kay and I don't miss them. We've heard it all 1,000 times, but inevitably, like all of a sudden, somebody says something, we go, wow, I'm glad we got on tonight, because it's that little gold nugget you'll find. Sometimes you don't, sometimes you do, but if you're not there, you certainly don't. Well, I'll go back and listen to them later. Yeah, that's a discipline that if you got more than I got, because I can't go back and listen to these recordings and find the time to do that, seems like, So we love dialing in live and getting everything firsthand, not translated, not delayed. That's how we roll our business. That's how we roll our lives, isn't it, Mary Kay?
Absolutely.
I don't like to go to a concert. I'm sorry, I don't like to watch the recording of a concert. It's okay. It's great. I got great sound systems here and big TVs and all that, but I'd much rather be there, That's just the way I roll. So plug into these Zooms. These Zoom at noon, we're doing these mainly because of the change in time, right? We started out with our African group over in Africa, and we continue to do that with them as well, and it just grows and grows and grows. So we're moving along. It's a lot of fun. Real quick, before we get into our guest speaker and continue the backstory of IHub, let's talk about how important that is for you. When Mary Kay and I have built teams in the past with different companies over the years, we've always sold that story, that backstory, how the company evolved, who are the people behind it, and that seemed to be as credible. If you guys can mute as you come in, if you're not already muted. Okay, that would be great. So anyway, that backstory is very, very important. And the people behind the evolution of the company winds up being as important, at least for us, it has been as important, if not the product or service that you're marketing, because that is the company. That is the core, and why that came together and how that came together, sometimes spiritually, sometimes magically, sometimes on purpose, but it is all probably an ingredients, different mix of all those ingredients, actually. But I love the story. I love the story of IHub. And Mary Kay and I've known these guys a long time. Before we get into that backstory and our guest speaker today, we wanted to share some things with you. Mary Kay's got a book in her hand that I found sitting on my bookshelf the other day, and I thought, man, maybe this will help them understand the importance of what we're going to share today. Now, we shared this on one of the 9 o'clock Zooms when Chuck was getting some things done and wasn't able to attend, and it went very well. We've been getting calls and requests and emails ever since. And I know why, because what you're getting ready to see here in a few minutes can alter the course of your life. Now, this recording will last 30 to 40 minutes, maybe 45 minutes. Try to get it done certainly within an hour, certainly within an hour. So this is an interesting book. This is Network Marketing for Dummies, right, Mary Kay? Mm-hmm. Network Marketing for Dummies, way back. This is published in when?
2006.
2006. And I got that blur thing on. I got to take that off. I'm taking that off. It's aggravating.
Yeah.
But anyway, you read this part to you. This is what we were published in there. Our company was published in there. And, we were talking about what we're going to talk to you about today. So that's pretty cool, right? Go ahead, Mary Kay.
Okay. And there's nothing secretive about it. You call people and complete a phone interview by asking probing questions and exploring their unwanted conditions. After you know what this person would do with some extra income or time, you then say to them, based on your answers to my questions, I feel you qualify for the second part of our interview. I have scheduled a short program Tuesday night, and I'd love to meet you and complete the interview.
Now, guys, these interviews are so effective. I've literally had people fly across the country to come to those meetings. Seriously, and not once. I actually had people standing in line. I told one gentleman that was so excited after the interview, and that he came to the live event, and he was so excited there that he wanted to get started right away and go to dinner and talk about how he was going to build his business, because he had a huge genealogy and he wanted to go. And I said, John, I love you, man. So glad you made it. However, I got Becky, who came in from Washington, ahead of you. If you get a hotel room and spend the night, then perhaps we can chat tomorrow and have lunch. And he did that. I mean, that's the power of begging people versus interviewing people. Standing your posture, standing your position as a professional, and doing this business as a professional. Now, IHub and what we've got here is leaps and bounds beyond the old school ways we used to do things. However, these principles, concepts, and laws of the way human beings are governed and the way we act and interact is not ever going to change. Whether you're doing a Zoom meeting live, or you've got a conference in Lexington, Kentucky, or wherever you are in the world doing live meetings or Zoom meetings, that process of interacting is not going to change. So let's go real quick. We want to share something with you. This is gold, guys. This is gold. And if you'll work with it, you're going to find yourself talking about it as you move along here. And it gets exciting. Now, our company's name is Home Business TO. And that's the company that was published in Network Marketing for Dummies way back. And we built the very first online interview system out of necessity. So here's a little bit of backstory. Back in that era, coming out of the mid 90s into the 2000s, we did a lot of direct mail campaigns to get leads. We get a lead. After that, I'm not going to get into that expense. That was crazy, mailing out little postcards and things. And then we get a postcard back that says, hey, I want some more information. They actually wanted something called a cassette tape. This is funny. This is a course that we built. You can probably see it or not see it. I don't know. It's a marketing course. I don't know if I can even hold it up. There's all the stuff in here. But you can see, this is funny. We actually built this one for Tybo. Billy Blanks and Tybo. They wanted to build a network marketing company. We had a series of cassette tapes. See those things, guys? Those are called cassette tapes. And then we actually put together that on DVDs as well, because that was the transition at the time. I had a workbook in here, blah, 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 an entire course of the stuff we talk about. And we're going to talk about on these Monday mentoring sessions. I only brought that up because when they mailed that postcard back, we had to mail out a cassette tape. And it was called a Play One. It had a standard letter in there, a form letter. The bottom of that letter was a thing they would cut off. It was a coupon. And they had to mail it back to us with $1 bill. And we would get them in the mail 10 or 20 each day, because we were really rolling, And once they did do that, once they listened to the cassette tape, now just think about that. Now you just text them the thing. It's like, so anyway.
So much easier.
Yeah. And I'm not even, this is crazy. So the backstory continues. So then after they'd mailed that back, then they got or qualified for what we call a Play Two. Now that Play Two was an expensive little booger. It was a laminated brochure, company stamped and embossed logo on it. It had a VHS tape in it. Imagine that. And then a bunch of literature, color printed brochures and stuff. And then and that was important, right? This is like Play Two. So we mailed them back priority mail. That was about a $15 package. And every day, when I was going to my job back in the day, I'd drop 8 or 9, 10 Play Ones in the mail and 4 or 5 Play Twos every day for years. And then what we did, we call it dialing for dollars. We'd dial up those people chasing. Every evening, I'd come home and I'd chase Play Twos. Dial. And this is back when we had no cellular, and we had this wonderful thing called long distance services. And so our cell phone, our bill, not our cell phone bill, but our phone bill then was like $3 to $4 grand a month, just depends. Because we had long distance, we paid for that long distance call. It's crazy. So you got the backstory where we're coming from. So I'm telling you where this interview came from. It's pretty special stuff. So one evening, I because you mail out this expensive package, you think they're going to be excited. They asked for it. They actually gave us $1 for it. And, you think, well, they'll be glad. They can't wait. Once in a while in a blue moon, someone would actually call me. but very seldom. We was always having to follow up and chase them. And then it's like, you can't get them on the phone because it's time to make a decision, you know, or they just took their good old time and never, you got to watch the VHS tape and go do all this. It was a laborious process. And I got really disgusted one day. I was tired and I slammed the phone down and said, I'm just not doing this anymore. This is not working. I've got to change something. And I sat there and I just dropped my head in my hands and said, what am I going to do? I need some help here. And so it was like, one of those aha moments. The light came on, however you want to. And I just like, man. So I picked up the phone. I never quit. I was not quitting. I just got to figure something else out. Got to fix it. It's not working. So I dialed the number and this person answered the phone. I didn't even give him a chance to talk. Hi, this is Sean Whelan. Mailed you a play too. How you doing, John? Great. Boom, 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 boom. You mind if I ask you a couple questions? Bam, went through the questions. And then we're going to share these questions with you. Because it was like I wasn't even thinking. I was outside of myself. I just started writing down the questions as I wrote them and the options. And on the other side of that conversation is where this interview system was developed. This is late 99, early 2000. And then I introduced it to let me show you something. Right here, I'm standing on stage in 2000, beginning of 2000 in Lexington, Kentucky, and I introduced this system at midnight to our team. It was a special meeting at midnight just for our team members, had about 600 people in the room. And I introduced this interview system and everybody in the room said, I'm ready to go build this business now. I'm not ashamed. I'm not begging. I stand proud on my business. I'm proud of what I offer. And I'm not going to waste my time with people who think anything otherwise. Or here's how I told them. If we're in the business of checking to see if people's life has brought them to the point where they're ready. That's all. That's all. It's okay. And if they're ready, engage. If they're not, but they're sharp people and they just got a couple of things going on right now. I'm in the process of selling my home. I'll be set up. I'll be happy. Can you check back in 30 days? Yeah, put them in your Eagle file. And some people, you just scratch them off your list. Based on this interview, Susie Q, sounds like your life might not have brought you to the point where you're quite ready for what we're doing. With your permission, I'm going to go ahead and scratch you off of our list. Well, wait a minute. And then they come to you like crazy. Or they say fine. And if they say fine, that's as much of a success as getting someone engaged because you just saved a lot of 1440, right? Or the worst is getting Susie Q registered and rolling or not rolling, registered, and then you're pushing a rope the whole time trying to get her registered, get her going, right, Mary Kay? All right, where's those questions, man? Let's roll through this. This is good stuff. Here's what we want to do. In this company, it's very simple to bring people to the table. The message goes viral. I mean, you plug in a little box, you plug in a little unit. It comes in a little box like this, right? You plug this thing in and you earn income. You earn HNT. That's pretty stupid proof. I mean, it don't take a lot of science behind that, right? So here's what we do. You got to know who you're talking to, and you're looking for business builders, right? Or you look, and now look, the people on your team are either hobbyists, social club members, or they're business builders. That's it. And so this interview works two ways. One, it does the magical part of the business where you're trying to determine if they're ready, if you want these people on your team as business builders. But also, it works well dialing the people already registered in your team. In iHub, you might have a bunch of people in your team who just registered for a free unit and they're not really, don't even know much about the affiliate model and they haven't engaged as a business builder. So that's a really prime spot to do an interview, right? Right there, call the people that you've brought to the table and say, look, let's have a restart here. Let's talk a minute. You mind if I ask you a couple questions? And you, by the nature of these questions, they're going to start thinking, there's something going on here bigger than what I thought, man. I promise you. We're going to be, this is what we love doing. This is the good stuff. So you're going to find out if you got a host or if you got an affiliate simply by doing some interviews. So we're going to take these 8 questions that came to me straight from heaven. That's the way I look at it, because I have made so much of a difference in my life and the lives of people who depend on the decisions that I make. Not wistful regret. We move beyond wistful regret. We built a wistful regret movie in front of these. And they watched the movie and they answered the questions, and then you got the answers. It was amazing. Okay, so Mary Kay, let's go with it. Talk to me.
Question number 1. What would you do with an extra $500 each month? Pay extra mortgage payments, pay off credit card college debt, buy a new car, start a family, pay for my children's education. And so many times when I ask that first question, depending on what age group you were talking to, but a lot of the younger ones, they were already on credit card debt and college debt. So they wanted to do that. And then your middle age people, they were busy making money for their family, feeding their children and trying to keep a job. And they forgot to put money up for their children's education.
Yeah. So
then they needed to have money to pay for their children's education.
So these are real life things, man. You say, well, I got a better one. You can take these questions and modify them, do whatever you want to do. I wouldn't. Trust me. I have thousands of hours in these interviews, and this is magic, guys. I don't, like I said, I don't even think I created it. I think it just came to me, and I'm not changing this. It's too cool. All right, number 2, let's roll through them kind of quickly because I want to get to the good stuff here in a minute. What
about you makes you feel like you are a good candidate for our system? My employment history, personable, strong work ethic, education. Well, if somebody's going to ask me that, I'm going to say my strong work ethic.
Okay. Well, personable is good because if you're networking, guys, we're not going to drill down on these. We do an entire video on these. We got a 30-minute video just on these questions and stuff. But this is, you just getting the hang of it here. Okay.
And what, if anything, did you do as a child to earn money? Babysit, yard work, online marketing, did not earn money as a child. And, that doesn't mean you didn't work or do something, because I babysat a lot. I did a lot of yard work and I didn't get paid. So that doesn't necessarily mean if you didn't get paid for it.
The little Amish lady wasn't allowed to charge. She was learning discipline and learning work ethic and stuff. So you're right. You come forth with a ton of work ethic, but you didn't get paid.
Right.
But most people did. Most people were taught how to earn money at a younger age, and some people aren't. And this is a good thing because, usually that work ethic either carries you forward into your adulthood or you wind up not being such a good candidate for our program. I love digging in here when we have these interviews.
Have you ever owned a business? Yes or no? That's pretty simple.
Well, most Amish people own businesses.
Right.
That's pretty interesting, really, if you think about it. But, you can dig in here and find a little bit of, do they even have the idea what a business is? Are they stuck? Have they been molded into believing the only way you can earn income is through a job and working for someone else? That's what you're exploring here, right?
How would you feel if 6 months to 1 year you could fire your boss because you are operating a successful, profitable e-business and you no longer need a paycheck? Great, relieved, okay, sad. I don't have a boss.
I'm gonna be sad. Yeah, I've had people ask that question doesn't apply to me. I don't have a boss. I said, good, you're already who I'm looking for. But anyway, you guys, I don't want to drill down on these too deep because like I said, we do that elsewhere. But this is really these questions. If you'll start applying these to people, you're talking to. We used to call it know who you're talking to. You're trying to drill in and know who you're talking to and who you're working with, because we each have 1,440 minutes every day. And our outcome in life, especially our financial outcome, is completely determined by who we talk to and who we spend that time with. That's a fact. So this whole system was designed to get you on point with the right people, and it gets happy at that time. When you work with the right people, it's a joy. When you work with the wrong people, it's a pain. Go ahead, Mary Kay. I'm sorry.
What would earning money from anywhere and everywhere do for you? Allow me to spend time with family, give me more recreation time, give me more spiritual time, give me more time for exercise, or provide peace of mind.
There you go. I mean, this is pretty simple stuff. 7.
Do you believe you can, or do you currently earn a 6-figure income? Yes or no?
That's interesting. Most people today would say yes to that because of the evolution of salary and
Right.
wages and things. But, back when we wrote that question so long ago, you had to really be on the queue to get to, be able to say you got a 6-figure income. And then the next question from me, good, I'm glad you do. Yes, I'm an engineer. I write several languages in programming. I build websites, whatever you do. But now the question would be, do you earn a passive 6-figure income? I love dropping that on them after that, because when we wrote these, we were, and anybody can if they want to in this space, right?
Right. If you meet our criteria, would there be anything stopping you from getting started right now, right away? Or right now?
So, yeah, right. That's right. Right. I mean, it's like, okay, so boom. What's the holdback? Are you moving? Are you doing? You got to know that. So we know on a calendar what to do next, right?
Mhm.
You got to remember that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And this interview system begins the bonding process. I promise you guys, if you'll take the time to care enough about the person that you're prospecting, I didn't say recruiting and I didn't say selling. I'm the one that taught the industry, stop selling, stop recruiting, and start interviewing people. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Now, this is just a part of our Mentoring Monday stuff. We just want to give this to you as a little, something to think about this morning. We're going to work toward maybe we can help take some of this thing that we built right here and turn it into an IHub University with some other people's help. There's a lot of stuff we can do, and there's a lot of stuff coming down the road. Now, let's get into this backstory real quick, because this is the stuff that can make the magic for you. You all know Rick Cotton is your CEO. Rick is a very accomplished businessman. And I'm going to cut to the chase here, because Rick was working with this guy already. And I don't want to steal the thunder, don't want to steal the story, because it's really cool what's going on here. And as this was developing, I find a message in that story that bonds me to this company. And that's why we started on these first 4 Zoom at noon Mentoring Mondays. The last half of it is dedicated toward these founders and co-founders to tell this story. And today we have one of our superstars. You guys, you've heard him, you've seen him, but he is a superstar, guys. And one of the kindest people I've ever had a chance to work with. And Mary Kay too, I assume. You feel that way about him too?
Oh, yes.
I'm just talking. You know,
That's right.
Yes. Mary Kay is the one that matters. Now, what I think really doesn't matter. But here's the truth. I know IT people. We've owned our own companies and we've had our own IT team. And when you find someone who's very technically familiar, let's just say that, not get into all the programming languages and stuff, technically familiar on your left hand. And then on your right hand, you have someone who understands networking, understands the networker's mind and what they need and how they can help them, right? When you have those two components, one on the right hand, under the same umbrella, you have John Crim. And I can't say enough about him. We just met during the iHub experience. I didn't know John before. I knew Rick. We knew Rick way before. We knew Chuck way before that. But the two co-founders, which is John and Michael Stern, we just kind of met here. And I got to tell you, John's a shining star. He's the reason it's here. So I'm gonna ask him to jump right in here. This is us meeting for the first time in Vegas, and is one of those pinnacle moments of our career in America. I love it. He's a great guy too. Good dry personality. It's a humorous personality. I love it. So John, without any further ado, brother, can you unmute and let's talk about the backstory a little bit. Let's talk about so what happened is Michael Stern found it, was investigating it. He takes it to Chuck. Chuck takes it to Rick, and you and Rick were already working together. And then Rick called you. So I'm going to be quiet, hand you the mic, or if you just want to ask any questions back and forth, we do it. But take it from here, man. Let's tell us what happened.
Yeah, so I guess a little backstory with me that led up to me working with Rick is in one of my lowest moments of my life, I came up with a goal of helping 2.5 million kids struggling with hunger. So when I was surrounded by a lot of naysayers, people that said you can't do things or you need to, make some changes and be more realistic, I came up with a goal of helping 2.5 million kids, which just infuriated the people that were supposedly helping me. But I was, from the network marketing realm, was taught come up with big goals, big dreams, think bigger, which then starts to separate you from a lot of people that don't want to do stuff like that. So then with that particular goal of helping 2.5 million kids, I came across some opportunities that led me to be able to work with Rick. He had started Viva Kids at a company that was helping Viva Kids. That particular company's new ownership started to part ways a little bit, but Rick and I got together and continued to, let's build something that could keep helping the Viva Kids organization. And there was time Rick asked me, are you working with me because of what I can do, or was there a different reason? I said, there's a different reason. I'm sticking out with you because I believe in helping the kids, and so let's keep going. And that's the reason why I'll put up with a lot of the difficult things. And he was a little hurt by it initially, but then he realized, you know what, I can appreciate that, that then no matter what, we'll continue on. So we had started doing some consulting work to help the network marketing realm of people. And then when Chuck came to Rick about these little hotspots, Rick came to me because we were already working together. And he said, look, can you vet this out? You're the tech guy. I trust you. The visions and different things that I put together, you're able to make them come to fruition on the tech side. So vet this out. So I went through it. I told him, yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Helium project and these hotspots, it's for real. But if we're going to do it, there's got to be a certain way we do it. So that's when he went back to Chuck and said, if we're going to put something together, we need John on board. Otherwise, he said he wasn't going to do this unless I helped out and was part of it. Chuck agreed because of prior things that it created that helped his team out. He's like, yeah, absolutely. And so that's kind of how it got to the starting point. There was a marketing system that I had started creating already that we just said, you know what, let's give it to IHub to start with. So that's kind of how it got started with Rick and that.
And that was the original funnels that started the model, right?
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Solid goal. But I love your part about you are already doing benevolent work. You are already focused on the young children. And that's what brought you to Rick, because of Viva Kids. And you guys wanted to start a project to continue to support Viva Kids, right? Is that what I understand?
Yeah. So like with that particular goal, people are like, that's an insane goal. I said, look, even let's say throughout my lifespan, and I helped, let's say, 1 million kids, and I only got halfway. But someone might look back and then go, well, 1 million, that's a lot. Like, yeah. Well, yeah, but it fell short. But but what the higher vision of a goal makes you have to filter your decisions differently. So when you try to start chunking that down, It doesn't need to be me individually always doing, but if I started to learn, if I had a community of people that were on the same page, the same goal or similar goal, and it gave that person, like, it inspired them to do something different, and it attracts them to, like, here's a community of people that want to make a difference. It'll welcomes the right crowd, the right people to go out and make a change. And then ultimately, then that to me means more, because even if I passed away, if that bond of people that came together teach the next person, then it can continue on even without me. And so that's
it.
why I really like network marketing, because it brings people together for common goals, and it helps pull those out from other people, maybe things that they wouldn't normally share, but it goes beyond, like selling product or setting up a hotspot. We get into the homes, and then you learn what people want to do, but maybe just didn't have that little nudge to do it.
That's exactly why we built the interview system, right there. That finding out who you're talking to part, it's the same thing. It's like all these truths that govern our industry, John. And you're talking about duplication. You're talking about passing on legacy here. You're talking about your goal to help these millions of children and engaging others to participate in that, which is networking, right? It sounds like that's Viva Kids today. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, and when I first had that goal, the first thing I started doing was donating my time at a pantry that was hand out food. Something simple.
Yep.
And it was literally just delivering food to the pantry, and then when people showed up and there's kids, and we would document how many would help, and and so anyone could donate 2 hours of their time a week.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I started doing, and then one thing led to another, and people start, it's not just someone just saying something. It led me to ultimately get to people that want to have a bigger goal, bigger vision, and that's how I got surrounded with Rick, and then we agreed that Viva Kids would be part of the IHub and receiving portions of what everything is earned by it. So that meant a lot to me, and so I'll keep pushing through,
and you keep putting up with it until
yeah. So that's why I put 16, 18 hour days, 7 days a week for a long time.
This is the same guy that we called, and he answered the phone, and he had COVID at the time. Couldn't hardly breathe. I mean, dude, guys, you talk about strength and tenacity and what it takes to get this done. You look at these founders and co-founders. Eric Z, he's not one of the co-founders, but he's still part of the team, obviously, new part of the team. These guys are working through sickness. They're working 16, 18 hours each day. And, it's easy to take part of John's story and say, look, this company actually started with benevolence. It started for the right reasons. It came together. John agreed to participate because of the Viva Kids, and Rick and Chuck and team allowing Viva Kids to be part, thus contributing a percentage of all the earnings from IHub to Viva Kids. I don't know that I can't wait to talk to Rick about it, but obviously, John, you wouldn't have been here if that would have been rejected, right?
I would have put up with him on whereas money out of my pocket too during it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they like you're getting paid in the beginning, right? You don't even knowing you're probably still not getting paid. But anyway, the reality is this, guys. This is a great story to take forward to the marketplace. I mean, I don't know. Matters of the heart seem to be more important at the end of the day than money. And I just know that. I mean, that's why I love talking to people and doing the interview and finding out who I'm talking to, and boom, 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 and diving into that place and looking for that place of that matter of heart, if you would. It's so important from a prospecting point of view. But from a backstory IHub company point of view, you guys, you can't listen to what John's saying. Listen to how this came together and the chatter that was going on between these guys at the time. It's like, okay, I'll do this. I'll put up with all the grief. I'll put up with all the energy. I'll put my money in it. I'll do everything. But it has to be for the kids at the end of the day.
Right.
That's why it's here. That's amazing.
And then, so you touched on Eric and his team as well. So the way that came about is we were wanting to put together a system on top of what we already created to do a scoring system. So Rick said, you know, John, decide whether or not you want to build it, hire someone to build it, or something in between, or however you want to get it done. So when I started looking into what could be done, what I did is I went down on my knees and I prayed as a guy, help figure out what I should do here, because it's a big ask. I got a lot going on trying to get the current stuff going, and to try to teach someone as I'm trying to learn it, I don't know, but you lead the way. So the very next day, I was led to do some searching online, came across Eric's page of a little company they were about to launch. I said, hey, Rick, take a look at this, because this could be something. Rick called. Eric said he wasn't going to answer the call, but just something spoke to him at the time to answer the call, and so that's how we got connected to Eric.
Wow.
And then the very next day, we decided let's fly out to Vegas. And so a couple days after that, we were out in Vegas meeting them up with them. Synergy was there. And one of the things from a programmer's background, and there's a gentleman, Brandon, who's one of the programmers. Some really bright programmers are not very good socially, but they're very smart, intelligent, and they're hard to talk to because you can't quite understand their programming talk. But the way the way that I saw how Eric really spoke highly of Brandon, and the bond that they had, and how he's, if we're doing this, Brandon has to be involved. And after that day, I went to Eric and I said, look, I really appreciated how much you protected Brandon and made sure that he was part of it. I already saw that, but to know that you did, like, that's the bond that you have, and the brotherhood, that meant a lot to me. And so then our bond, grew fast, like we've known each other for a long time.
Right.
And so,
Well, I got to tell you, Eric Z's a superstar. I mean, we met him in Vegas, but we've been talking to him before then, and I've never met anybody that just absolutely is so positive, optimistic, solution-driven kind of guy. And I mean, you are obviously, and this is interesting. I'm going to weave this into your story right there. When you guys were getting on the plane to fly to Vegas, that's when Mary Kay and I called Rick.
Yep.
He took my call and getting on. He says, I'm boarding a plane. I took it because it was you guys. And I was trying to actually, we were doing we had a consulting contract with another company, and I was calling him about that, to invest in that company. He said, Sean, because it's you, I would look at it. I don't have the bandwidth. I simply just can't look at anything else right now. He says, I will call you when I get to Vegas, and I'll show, because we said to him, Mary Kay, she turned to me and goes, well, if he won't even look at it, what's he doing? I said, well, I don't know. I better ask him. So yeah, it's like, Rick, if you're that busy and because of us, you won't look at it, or you don't have time to look at it, maybe we need to know what you're doing. And he said, I'll call you. And he did. We still have it recorded. He did a one-on-one recorded Zoom with us from his hotel room. And it was lights out. We've been here. It's such a viral message. And we see a phenomenal opportunity where we can help millions of people learn this business professionally, change their lives because they do. And I can show you the slide deck. The last slide on the slide deck with us always is Viva Kids, because Viva Kids drew us in here. We enjoyed meeting those people at the event, our launch event in November. We are an active piece of making all that come to fruition because, and John, you can tee off on this too. These events, these trips, these vacations with a purpose. What do you think is the most important part of that vacation with a purpose, my lady?
Is to connect with the little children and help them.
What else? That's obvious. That's the purpose.
Right.
But what's the side ancillary hidden benefit that happens on those?
Connecting with everyone that goes along on there.
The people that are going on these
Right.
events are the top performers in this company. Bonding with that group
Uh-huh.
of people usually costs you $1,500, $3,000 to go to an event like that and to spend time with people like that.
Yeah,
It just
I've seen
does.
some cost 50 grand to do though.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
well,
right.
you get into Tony Robbins stuff, you can spend
Yeah.
$1 million if you want to,
Mhm.
and we know people who just did the $85,000 platinum package, $85,000 just to be part of that network. So to be part of the Viva Kids business program network, it's obviously the core what brought this company together to begin with. That purpose is why John's here. That purpose is probably why Mary Kay and I are here, right? I mean, that's we knew that. We knew
Right.
Viva Kids before, right?
Mhm.
When I seen that logo on the side, I said, oh boy, here we go, So it's like, guys, and that may not be your thing. You may be really in a spot right now, and you might really need to generate some income, and you're trying to create a financial wall for you and your family. And I love you for that, because that's major important stuff. But along the way, these hidden benefits are going to sneak up and show you something you've never seen before. And you just got to stay on it. Tenacity, just those convinced against their will remain of the same opinion still. Let those go who are not ready. Do these interviews. Find out if they're biscuits. We talk about is their biscuit cooked. If they're not ready to get out of life's oven yet, and they love their job and they think that's the thing, let them do that. Ask them well, here, I'll give you this too. The last thought, and I'm gonna hand it back to John to close it. Unless you want to add anything, please do. But when people say, oh, but I love my job, I respect that. What if you could do it and not have to get paid? You can keep doing it. Keep doing your job. It's just not, you don't need to rely on it for income. Heard it said this way one time: find out something, do something that you love, and call it work. Right? So that's what it's about. We got to get to the point where we're not doing it for money. We're doing it for the love of what we do. Most people can't live there. They're out there committing themselves. I call it modern day slavery. That's what a job usually is. And I'm not trying to go too far down that rabbit hole, but I will say this, man, most people that I've interviewed over the years do not love their job. They do not want to go to work tomorrow morning and do what they have to do. They don't. They're not in it for the love. They're in it for the money. And that's where that whole disgust comes from, it seems like, Anyway, John, man, what else, buddy? I love it. Great talk.
So one of the things that I've noticed with this versus like other companies that I've done in the past is there's a bond that gets created between a parent and a child. And it doesn't matter if the child is in the teens or even in their 30s. There's always been like a disconnect of the kids not wanting to do what the parents did in like a network marketing around the work, because they seen how hard it was to get there. But this particular one, I've seen so many parents and kids doing this together. So one of the things, if you find out they have kids, maybe they don't want to do it for work, but maybe they have a kid that's really into like computer and tech stuff. So you like That could be a little project that you do with your child, and you let your child get the earnings.
Beautiful, man.
Mhm.
Great stuff. We just connected my niece the other day, like last Thursday. I think we hooked up her box, right? It's cranking, by the way. But yeah, we just hooked her up her hotspot this past Thursday. And this young girl, I felt so terrible. We were building a very large team with another company at the time. And she found Amway early on. I mean, like in her teens. And I remember bringing it to me. Her name's Whitney. And Whitney was so excited about that. And I was so busy and so focused that I didn't pay her enough attention. Matter of fact, I probably blew her off. And I didn't think she saw that coming from her uncle, who's known to be a networker, right? She was so excited to bring me all those pamphlets and all that stuff. And I told her I knew all about it already and it wasn't for me. And I could have handled it a lot differently. So I was very excited to be able to bring her iHub and hook up her hotspot and see that excitement in her eye again. That touched my heart, you know? So I can totally relate to that, John. I mean, you're right. Most of the time your children's like, nope, if my mom and dad's in there, I've seen how much time they spend on the phone. I've seen and I was raised in the space and I don't want to do it. But we are seeing that too. We're seeing the children of parents, because it's like plug in the box and get and earn income. It's like they love that.
Cryptocurrency.
There's a cool factor to it. So.
Right.
Yeah. But John, thanks so much, man. This is, guys, if you're listening to this, you know, maybe what we'll do ultimately is take our front end part off of these mentoring sessions and just edit all these last four of the first four. We'll edit the last part into maybe one or something, so we can take this whole story through, because it's really important. This backstory, as I said, maybe in the beginning of this, we've used the backstory for every business we've presented ever as the lead. We talk about that, not in product and service. That just comes along. It just happens.
That's right.
Right? It's very cool.
I'll just add this yet. If you're new here, or if you're hanging around, the longer you hang here and the longer you join the webinars and the Zooms, you'll get to see that the CEOs, the IT guys, everybody that's working together is value focused. And you could hear that on John's story this morning. We have a team of value focused people and not dollar focused. Right. And it's going to go a long way.
Well, I got to tell you for sure, there is an era of value focus.
Right.
It's in the air around here, everywhere you go. And that's a great point, Mary Kay. And I wrote some stuff over the weekend. I'm not going to read it to you right now, but I want to leave you with this thought, because iHub is in a very interesting place. 1,200,000-300,000 affiliates worldwide. A lot of them were told things in the beginning as this company has been put together, one bone, one piece, one part at a time. Right? The evolution. We don't need to talk about formulation, concentration, momentum, and stability today, or the forest, the jungle, the dirt road, and whatever analogy you want to use. There is an evolution that takes place in every one of these companies. So just get this, guys. You got to get this. The change that has happened is not these officers or these founders misleading the field, like I've heard. These guys are liars. These guys, no. The change that has happened, the evolution that that is existing now, will continue to evolve, is a result mainly of manufacturing delays. And if you talk about majoring in minor things and missing the big picture and missing the big opportunity, it's probably going to go down in history as the greatest example of how many people got caught up in what I call the long grass. That's one of those South Carolina terms here, guys. But you know, you get stuck and you decide where you get stuck. You can get stuck where you started, or you can get stuck halfway, or you can get stuck later. It doesn't matter. But I just know that it's just inevitable that the people that ultimately succeed big have an extremely high, get my hands in here so they can see my scale, extremely high a level of, or threshold of, I'm not going to get stuck. It's either I'm going to or I'm not going to. And the ones that stay focused on, I'm going to evolve with this, and I'm going to work through it, and I'm going to understand that there's a process going on here. And as long as these guys are value focused and staying focused, I'm with them. You got that person, and then you got the person, the first time the wind blows, oh, they told me it was free. Well, that was a great plan. But you know what? Bankers don't see it that way. And it takes hundreds of millions of dollars to lock down these contracts with these iHubs. So if we're going to be intelligent business people, we've got to say, okay, in the US anyway, where we're using banker dollars to back up this company and turn it into $1 billion juggernaut, it's going to take some smart business. So the evolution suggests we've got now 2 plans. And for the people who can't see the value going forward from that place, they'll find us later. John, you said something the other day on the call. When this deployment starts happening, many people are going to refine iHub. They're going to come back home. They're going to say, "Oh, I'm glad I didn't terminate my position. I'm going to get going now. Now that's real, you know." Yeah. But it's just the ones that don't have that their threshold is just high. You know, it's like nothing. Any excuse will do, right? I knew it had to be a lie. These guys are liars. No. It's the evolution. It's the manufacturing delay. The very reason it seems to me like that people choose to not do is usually, this is weird maybe to you for a moment, but the very reason people choose not to usually is the reason they should stay. It usually, when they get the truth behind that, it's usually the reason why they should be here and they should stay. So dig into that. Don't let somebody blow you away with a bunch of half pieces of information. Dig into why these decisions have been made. Dig into why iHub is and how it is and where it's going to be, and you will be here. This is a very, very interesting model, no doubt about it. So, John, thank you so much, brother, for sure. Anything else, Mary Kay? John, anything else, brother?
There's plenty, but
Hang around,
I'm
right?
sure I'll be on more of these calls down the road. So.
Right.
Yeah, we'll be doing more of them for sure. Well, listen, appreciate your time today so much. And we are going to record this and have it posted there. If you'll look today, guys, there is the Zoom at News being posted in your on your iHub online office. Okay. So we appreciate each and every one of you guys. Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.